again, and now I think it's recording. It is. The timer's running.
Okay.
All right. All right. Here we go into episode 4.
Four
Just
already, huh?
The two of us building castles in the sky. Hey, Marvin.
I'm not going to sing with you.
Hey, Marvin, if you're listening, you need to get back on this side of the audio. I'm going to go ahead and say play the music. I'm going to tell you something.
What?
Go ahead, play the music.
What? Play the music.
Well, play the music. None of the episodes have music. It's literally us just making music noises.
Oh, cool, man.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of In Our Honest Opinion. I am Will, and joining me as usual is...
Adam.
Hey! This week we're going to talk about next-gen gaming pricing, which we kind of left you on a cliffhanger about last time. We're going to talk about this huge battle between Apple and... well, not between Apple, I'm sorry. It's between Epic Games and Apple and Google, which is going to be interesting. Major franchises go free to play. We're going to talk about Joe Bob Briggs because you've actually went and touched people or been near people.
Yeah, I went to the How Redneck Saved Hollywood show that he puts on.
Perfect. But before we do all that, there is something
Yeah.
that you've got to tell the people.
We would greatly appreciate it if you would give us a 5-star rating at whatever platform you listen on. It'll help us continue to record, reach new listeners.
Yeah.
Plus, we love those digital hugs.
We do love digital hugs. They make us feel so good.
They do.
You can do all that over at inouronestopinion.com, where you can find all the links to all our social media. And, of course, you can also drop those digital hugs. You can share it with your friends and family and all that fun stuff. But before we jump into all our topics, by the time you're listening to this, right, September is coming to a close, and you're thinking to yourself, I love October. October is a great month. Why? Well, it's not because of Halloween. It's not because of the candy. It's not because of the slutty nurse costumes that you'll probably see,
And
especially this year.
I was going to say the cat costumes.
Yeah,
so
that too.
They always wear those, the
that
sexy
too.
cat costumes.
That too. But it's because Adam Analyzes is releasing their third 31 Nights of Fright compilation, right?
Yep.
So, Adam, I wanted to ask you, right, because you've been doing by the time you've heard this, you've got it probably all set up for the most part. But year after year, you put in, a whole bunch of time and effort watching movies, rewatching movies. What can they expect going into October?
Well, this year it's going to be pretty much the same format, I would say. The difference with it, though, is that it's going to cover franchises.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's a must.
We're going to have Friday the 13th.
Okay.
We're going to have Hellraiser and Candyman.
Oh, no Halloween?
And that's actually something I touch on my first episode.
Gotcha.
There's a reason behind that. For one, I tried to...
We'll let them hold on to episode 1, or do you want to spoil it?
Well, I can spoil it of why Halloween is not a part of it.
Okay, go ahead.
For one, it's too similar to Friday the 13th.
Okay.
So I was trying to do different franchises.
Cool.
So it's too similar as far as the overall concept. It's just Halloween didn't go into the camp level that Friday the 13th goes into. So that's what makes it a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't want to put that on there, and plus I don't own all the films.
Gotcha.
So that's another reason of why. If I was to actually buy them all, it would cost me quite a bit.
Yeah, I was about to
they're
say,
scattered.
aren't they like 8?
For one,
7?
the Shout Factory set that was there
Yeah.
is pretty costly because it's way out of production. It was a couple studios going into it.
Uh-huh.
And not only that, I would have to buy from different places.
Okay.
in order to get
That's
them
fair.
all. So,
Ooh, phone's making noise.
and if we want to go one step further, Halloween has the most out of any of the movies, as far as I know, because you have the Rob Zombie movies too. So you have those in addition to the other ones, and there's
Yeah.
three
Oh,
or
yeah.
four different timelines. It's ridiculous.
That is a little out of hand. I can't blame you. I feel like that would cover the majority of
It-
October.
It would take up most of it. I think there's like 12 or 14 movies, something like that. It's way
IO,
too much.
not IO, but Adam Analyzes presents 31 Nights of Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. I mean, like in
Done.
like number 6, there's 2 cuts of the movie.
Jesus. No, I'm good.
'Cause there's-
I'm good.
There's the producer cut, and then there's the work print.
Yeah, no. Pass, hard pass. I actually, and I don't know if a lot of listeners actually know this, but I do actually listen to the 31 Nights of Fright. It's always fun. It's always a surprise on our end too. That's one of those things that you take on all of that as far as production and release.
It's actually a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's a crazy amount of work to do it every year.
yeah, no. Yeah, hats off to you there.
But it's fun at the same time. So while it's a lot of work, it's also fun.
I mean, it's personally right taxing the idea that it's a behemoth of a thing. 31,
Yes.
episodes like that's crazy.
Yes.
They're mini podcasts. It's a lot, even for the short period
I mean,
of time.
it releases every day too.
Yeah.
So the platform I use, Anchor, I can't really.
Shout out to Anchor.
I mean, I can preload them,
Yeah.
but I still have to apply music and stuff like that
All the
to
fun
it. I
stuff.
mean, it's very
There's production that
very
goes into it.
time consuming.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Well, I always look forward to it. Again, guys, as you listen to this, go ahead and whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, go ahead and subscribe now to Adam Analyzes because that's only going to get you prepped for once those start dropping day one. So let's move forward with first topic I've got on here, right? It's one that I've been holding on to for a few weeks. As of the, I guess the posting of this, you can't buy an annual subscription to Xbox Live anymore.
what?
It's not a thing, right? So in the past, for those, I mean, at least for you and I, right, we've gotten accustomed to $60 get you a year of PlayStation Network or Xbox Live.
Right.
What is it? $20 for Nintendo Switch?
Nintendo Switch is a steal. It
In comparison,
it doesn't have the features.
No, exactly.
As what the other ones do. So, but you get free games occasionally. So
yeah,
it's
which
kind of cool.
hasn't happened in a while, but no, you're right. But now, right, Xbox Live, you can't find it. You can only sign up, for the monthly, or you can do the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, right?
Yeah, I
think
believe
that's
it's
what
called Game Pass.
which is like $15 a month, which includes Xbox Live, which includes a library of games that you can play, or as far as Xbox Live multiplayer or whatever. So
Right.
I don't. So I think right now I've paid for a month, but usually I'll sign up for whenever they do 3 months for like $15. I'll write out
Right.
those 3 months and then I'll cancel it, and then I'll wait till they do a promo again. If it's $1 for a month, or another 2 or 3 months for whatever price, I'll sign up for that. It's a good deal for me at least, whenever I get the 2 or
just-
3 months at that
I
price.
was gonna say, like, I haven't fired up my Xbox One in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Like probably like almost 2 years now. And I have not had Xbox Live Gold or whatever it was called.
Back in the day.
I haven't had that for a long time either. So,
Oof.
but then again, the Sony one with the PlayStation.
PlayStation Network or
yeah.
PlayStation Plus. PlayStation
Yeah,
Plus.
whatever that
Whatever
is.
it's called.
I have not had that in a long time either. So
Oh, okay. Well, I can't blame you there.
I don't play games that much, and I don't play them online generally. So
Gotcha. So I'm pretty much a multiplayer player, more than anything else. So one of the things that I find interesting with this is that it's already been confirmed. All right, next gen pricing, you're looking at console games are going to be $70 instead of $60.
yeah, but I thought the 2K dialed that back.
Back
Did
to
they?
what, like their games are 60?
Yeah, I think they dialed it back to 60 because there was a lot of backlash on it.
Gotcha.
I mean, if games are $70, I mean, then I'm definitely not engaging, right away. I'll wait for them to drop a little bit.
So, and I'm just checking, right? So it looks like Madden 21 and then NBA 2K21 or whatever, they both, put it out at 70, but then they said, we'll probably drop it back to 60. As of a couple weeks ago, it's still maybe $70, the standard pricing moving forward.
Which is kind of ridiculous because it doesn't cost that much to actually manufacture the games or even to put up
On
a
a
digital
disc.
download
Yeah,
even.
no.
I mean, it doesn't cost that much at all to actually do that. And what you're paying for is the production costs.
And I think, especially recently, and please, listeners, let me know if I'm wrong here, but it's mostly an unfinished game that you're buying anyway.
Right.
That, like, you buy a game
Yeah.
and you've still got to download some huge update on day one or whatever the case is. So now I'm spending, right, technically, right, the gamer, I'm spending an extra $10 to get a game that hopefully is completely ready to play.
Yeah, which sucks because you got to wait for it to install and then you got to wait for it to download the patch.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be like a 2-3 hour at least
Ordeal.
investment.
And that's currently next gen. Supposedly, the next Xbox or whatever, are showing ridiculous load times. So that whole thing that we're suffering through right now with the PS4 and the Xbox One might be a thing of the past.
As far as the installation stuff?
Yeah, all of it.
mean,
Console
because-
boots up faster than it can actually show you the logo.
Okay.
Loading large files, all of it is all supposed, next gen gaming. So 4K, you know what I mean, loading with literally like no load times. Supposedly but this is on prototype, hardware. None of this is production. None of this is actually like in the hands of the consumer.
Right.
And I feel like generation after generation of consoles, we always see this, right? Every time we watch them show you a demo on stage, it's beautiful and all great, just like PlayStation Pro's Spider-Man, right? That, they showed you this great demo reel, gameplay or whatever, and then the moment that it released, they were like, oh, look how much has been downgraded
Yeah, it's
because
dialed back at that
loading
point.
and everything like that. And I'm like, then why show that? Why show the potential
I mean, the thing is, though,
just to let everyone down?
people are wiser to that now, though.
I hope.
Well, I believe so because, like, they know if they're showing them like a sizzle reel of
Yeah, highlights.
footage and it's not actually in game or it's not being created right there live on stage.
2 gigs of programming code is all they're showing you on the this super hyped up PC, and they're like, look at how great it looks and loads.
Yeah.
And it's all like, all right, but then now the whole game, which is actually 15 gigs, 25 gigs, what is Red Dead, isn't that like a 45 gig game or
I don't
some
know,
crap like
but
that?
it really sucks that when you install on PlayStation,
Yeah.
you have to have double the amount of space,
In order for it to
like
actually
free for it to install.
Whew.
It's
That's
a
not
royal pain because like I only have a 500 gig system,
Yeah,
and I'm always deleting and reinstalling stuff on that.
I'm doing
and,
the same thing with
and
the Xbox.
and it's one of the reasons of why I don't use it that much because of that.
Yeah, it sucks. And I have a USB hard drive, like to it.
Yeah,
Just so
and,
that
and
way
you
I can.
still ran out of
And,
space.
yeah, both the console and the hard drive, and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't buy games anywhere as much as I used to, and that's why I do the occasional, 2-3 months for $15. I'm like, oh, that works. I'll try
Yeah.
a couple games because I'm only going to play maybe a total of 20 hours over those 3 months, and
Yeah.
that's it. So
I don't know. I feel like console gaming and stuff. A lot of that is leaving me behind.
Yeah.
The Switch is simple, and that's one reason why I don't mind it because even their update files are not that big.
no, they're not. It happens pretty quickly.
and
I'll
they
agree
go
with that.
quick.
Yeah, so like I remember there was a time where I was hardcore into gaming. You know what I mean? Like I loved it. I was always excited at what's new, what's coming, what's rumored, all that crap. But looking at the next gen consoles, seeing that they really are like these monsters according to their specs, right? For both.
Right.
But then you look at that $70 price tag, and I remember, yes, I'm this old, when games went from 40 to 50, when they went from 50 to 60.
Right.
And it was just all like, oof, what's that? And I don't think I minded so much when they went to 50. I was a little taken aback when they went to 60. But the idea that
Well,
you're $30 away from $100.
you're thinking of PlayStation cards or discs. Excuse
Discs,
me.
yeah.
I mean, it was a different situation on like the N64 when the games
Yeah,
were
when you're going
60,
from cartridge.
$60 to $80 depending on which game it was.
Ugh.
I mean, I think Killer Instinct Gold. I think that released at like around $80 for a game, and yeah, I mean that's crazy.
It is. It's just it's too much money,
But then again,
and that's for standard. Like I get
higher manufacturing costs on those carts.
on cartridges. Yeah.
So
So and to some extent, I can understand, right, that cost is passed down to the player.
Yeah.
But we are hardcore moving towards subscription-based everything, right? And I'm guilty of signing up for a lot of subscription-based stuff. Music, I just admitted to some of the gaming. Movies, is a thing. Television shows. We are Disney Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon subscribers. Like, CBS,
I was gonna say CBS All Access, Shutter,
yeah,
and I was tempted to roll that into
the Showtime,
yeah,
CBS bundle. I was gonna ask if you were gonna do that.
Showtime, CBS All Access.
Because aren't you paying the same price?
And Apple TV Plus. Well, I'm paying $10, and it'll be like 15 for all three.
Is it? I saw $10 for CBS and Showtime.
Right, but you have to have the Apple TV Plus in order to get that. So it would be 15 all in.
Gotcha.
Which really isn't a bad deal at that.
No, it's not for the 3 subscription services. I just got a new device, so I have another year of Apple TV Plus for free.
Oh, really? You got another one?
Yeah. A work phone.
Okay.
I was given a work phone, and so it's one. I have like an additional iCloud account. Whole new Apple TV Plus subscription. I'm like, all right, I guess I can not watch it for another year.
Yeah,
'cause I
I mean, I don't watch it.
I haven't
at all.
watched anything on it. But it's the idea that all right, so now the consoles are obviously they're moving towards this, right? It is more of an idea of like, well, now Xbox Live is gone annually, so now they want you to pay $15 a month. And again, when you look at the monthly price, that doesn't seem so bad. $15 gets you, about 100 games that you can play at no additional cost. Your Xbox Live subscription, which was $60 to begin with. But it's the idea that, like, well, now are you guys going to get competitive? Because a console game, right? Now a disc-based game is going to be $70, right?
Right.
At one shot. But then now, in order for me to play the multiplayer aspect of that, I've got to pay now an additional $15 a month, right? $15 a month, which puts my initial purchase at $85.
And that's if that sticks.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about it this way. They could increase that price to 20 or 25.
No, exactly right.
They could very easily pull a Netflix and just increase it.
And continue to notch it up, right? So
Yeah.
you're looking at the $70 for the game, $180 for the year subscription. Jesus. Putting you at a grand total of $250. Enjoy playing Halo.
Yeah.
Was it worth the $250? At one point, $250 got you some super like special limited edition, whatever the hell.
Master Chief head.
Yeah, exactly. But now all it gets you is the basic game. And then, and I'm going to go ahead and steamroll another topic into here, right? 343 Studios announced that. Halo is one of the like biggest games for the for the Microsoft for the Xbox console. So
Right.
they've already said, hey, look, the multiplayer aspect is going to be free to play anyway. So now you're going to spend $60 to $70 on a single player game, right? Just the campaign. Anybody else can play the other stuff for free. Well, for free in the sense that they can download the multiplayer portion for free, but then now they've got to pay $15 a month, to play that.
Right.
Ugh.
I don't know. Again, it's losing me.
Quickly. Is that age? Am I getting old? I'm asking
I
that to the listener. Like, is that just me getting too old too fast?
For me, it's the fact that it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it,
Yeah.
and the money aspect over the course of all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it worth the investment? It's not for me.
let's look at it this way. I mean, there's like a 12 to 17-year-old kid that may not have a job. The parents footing at that bill.
They are.
So they're completely fine with it. It's going to be great for them. I mean, for me, it sucks.
It does suck. For anyone that is paying this out of pocket, right? And that's
Yeah.
that is your 21 and up, you know what I mean, like market there, where that is a heavy investment. And then the rumors are going back and forth about what these consoles are going to cost. I think this is a $400 console, either way you look at it.
I mean, it's going to be $400 to $500, somewhere around there.
Easy, right? I don't think that anyone's going to make that $600 mistake that Sony did the first time around.
It was more than that, though.
It was 6 and 8, right?
You're-
6, 8.
You're talking about PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah. When they
there
first came
there
out,
was like a $700 system
Yeah.
out there,
yeah,
which was ridiculous, and people were still buying them.
buying them. Yeah, but and they were hard to find.
I mean, I was at Circuit City at the time when those came out, and
what's that? What's a circuit?
What's a Circuit City? It's a myth.
Welcome to Circuit.
It's a legend.
Yeah, it really is
It was similar to a Best Buy.
similar. Poor things. They
Similar.
just weren't close enough.
But
Oh, so sad.
but they had just what you needed. You remember that? That
Yeah.
was like the song they used, the car song.
It was
It's just what I needed.
Oh no, that's not the song I remember.
That was a song. Well,
Was it?
yeah. I mean, Circuit City before that
Oh, okay.
had the "Welcome to
The
Circuit City," where
yeah.
services state of the art. Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. Man.
Good God, that's terrible. Yeah, yeah, we're old. So, anyways, so it's just the more evolved, that going it's towards a subscription based thing. I just keep thinking to myself, is that really the best thing for the player at the end of it? Because again, the adult that is footing that bill, it's no longer just a one time investment. I can't just go buy a game for $60 and then play it whenever the heck I want or whatever. Done. It's all like, well, now I've got to pay this extra, to go ahead and make sure that I get all of it.
I think it sucks in a lot of ways, and specifically because I do like to have digital or actual physical copies of games, and they're pushing the digital, and then now you don't even own it; it's part of the subscription.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're going to be in complete control and can totally Skynet it and just cut it off at any given time.
No, you're right, and you're screwed at that point.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not a fan of that.
You've dumped a whole bunch of money into nothing that you can keep.
Yep.
That's
And
all
it's
I go.
brilliant on their
on their
their
side.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it really is. Anyways, let me know, guys, if you guys are looking forward to next gen consoles, and if the pricing doesn't bother you. I guess explain that to me. I'd love to hear that. Before we go into more movies and games and tech stuff, I want to take a quick break here and talk to you. The world, right, has been going through COVID-19, social
Right.
distancing, blah, blah, blah. But you, Adam, have actually ventured out into the real world. And you went to, it's not a con, so to speak, but it kind of
No,
is, right?
I mean it was
the
a
same thing.
conversation
Yeah.
about movies. I mean that's what it was.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean I ventured to the mythical land of Orlando. Actually, it wasn't Orlando. I forget where
Orlando,
it was.
Florida?
It was like an outskirt of Orlando.
I'm trying to think of what's
I
out
forget
there.
what it was actually called. The city.
The city of Melbourne? No.
No, I forget what the actual city was. I mean, it's right outside of Orlando.
Not Kissimmee, right?
It was the Florida. No, because that's before.
Oh, you're right.
It was the Florida Film Festival, which I guess has been held there since forever, and
No shit.
first time I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, that's news to me.
But yeah, Joe Bob Briggs was bringing his show there.
Okay.
And it was something that I wasn't going to miss because it hasn't really been close.
Okay.
Like that close
Yeah.
to me. And it was his show called How Redneck Saved Hollywood. And it's just fun because it's him basically telling the history of the redneck and how Hollywood was banking off of that.
That's hilarious.
Like it went from like early days, as far as like settlers and stuff, and
Yeah.
then moved up into like the 70s, and so it was really good. It was
Yeah.
like you were going to a college class.
Really?
He made his little jokes and stuff that he's known for. I mean, so everything had a sense of humor.
That's good.
There was a meet and greet at the start of it.
Okay.
The meet and greet was where it got interesting.
Oh,
Because that was the even to wait in line,
yeah.
you had to be socially distanced. So
How
they
long?
had like the about 6 feet in between.
In between each person. huh? or a group of people.
Yeah, and then the photo that Nicole and I got with him and Darcy, the mail girl, there from the last drive-in show.
Yeah.
Of course, that was socially distanced. So
Everyone a
this is
mile
the
on.
world we live in
Yeah.
now. And
Where you get to take a picture in the general vicinity of.
yeah, but I mean, it was cool because he signed the record that I bought there and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it was not bad, but yeah, this is the changing world, and
Yeah.
of course that goes into movie theaters and stuff like that with what they're doing now.
Yeah.
But even when you were in there and into like the auditorium,
Mm-hmm.
the tables were spaced out. They had table service. Everybody's wearing masks. I took off my mask because I was relatively far away
From everyone?
from the tables.
Yeah.
So I wound up taking it off at that point. And
Yeah.
nobody said anything to me.
No, and I think you're allowed, right? Even in restaurants, that once you're seated, like you're allowed to
Right.
take your mask off.
Which, yeah, I mean, like, the tables were so far away that I couldn't imagine somebody like really sneezing or whatever,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
coughing and it making its way.
To you. Gotcha.
Of course it could, but I mean, at that point, I mean, it's so far away, the risk was relatively low.
Yeah.
And for people saying, well, you're going to put yourself in danger doing something like that.
I just rolled my eyes to that,
I
by
mean,
the way.
I really think that if they do things like that, like was done there,
Yeah.
I really think that it's just fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, more people need to be on board as far as the social distancing thing.
No, you're right, and I think that though I think one of the good things about that is that the serving staff and everything had their masks on. Those are the ones that are actually getting closer and traveling in between or whatever.
Yeah.
I still go out in the real world and I wear my mask whenever I'm in a
mean-
building. But if I'm outside, like, no,
And Nicole and I got drinks before the show.
yeah,
Quite a few drinks. But before the show, and then we got some, beer and stuff while we were eating our food at our table and stuff. And I mean, it was fine.
good time.
Yeah, and I found out why he was fine with doing a show.
And why is that?
Because he already caught COVID and was like in bad shape apparently.
Oh, all right. So one of the things I didn't know is the fact that this was set up. You said like a college course or whatever. Like there were discussion.
Yeah,
a
like-
discussion that was had.
Yeah, he would go and talk about different movies throughout history
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and basically how Hollywood would bank off the redneck and how it would you had like your Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you had Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard to think about that Hollywood was in bad shape and they used Southern and redneck films to make money.
Yeah, I don't think that would work right
And
now.
it changed people's perception of what they were and stuff like that. So it was actually interesting.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah. It was actually an interesting thing, and yeah, he had it set up similar to like a college course or something.
That's funny. That's pretty cool. That's not anything. I know that usually whenever like I read up or watch or anything on like Comic-Con or any of those big things, they're not usually like they're not informative in that kind of way. It's more just all
Right.
like we're here to make our announcements or whatever, and so it's just an opportunity for you to see what's happening kind of behind the scenes or whatever they decide to tease.
Right.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Hall H or whatever that it's very famous.
Yeah.
For big events, it's nothing ever like that. You know what I mean? It's all check out our new 36-second trailer.
Let me put it this way. I recommend if there's any horror movie that you're interested in on Shudder on his last drive-in,
Yeah.
watch like the little intros and stuff like
he
that.
does?
I mean, because the guy knows his stuff.
Nice.
So I mean, even if he has like say a political view or whatever that, you would think, oh well, he's an idiot, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny and it's informative at the same time, and that's
cool.
one of the reasons why I got exactly what I wanted with that, because I was hoping, well, this is going to be like any of his shows throughout his history.
Yeah.
And it was similar to that, but it was more of a history lesson.
Gotcha. So I've got a question for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went to what was it? I can't remember the event last year. Last year?
Spooky Empire?
Yeah, where you got to meet Candyman himself, right?
Yes.
And you fell in love with him from the moment you looked into his eyes.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome.
Pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
How was the experience here with him or with Joe Bob, right?
Well, what's interesting is because I met I met Joe Bob Briggs at Spooky Empire,
Okay.
so there was a Q&A with him there.
Yeah.
I would think that I probably preferred this over the Spooky Empire one because it was people just asking about, well, what do you think about this? You know, hey, why won't Shutter let you show this or that or
Gotcha.
whatever? You know,
Gotcha,
it was
gotcha.
a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
This really allowed him to flex his history and knowledge of film and
A lot
like
more.
American culture in general,
Yeah.
Southern culture more or less. So I think I would prefer this
Over that.
over what was presented at Spooky Empire, even though when I watched the Tony Todd one,
Yeah.
even the Sam Raimi one, it was very informative and it was inspiring at
Yeah.
the same time with them telling their stories and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So it was actually really good.
Cool. These are the things that like I thoroughly enjoy. Right. A lot of the stuff that goes in, behind making a movie or whatever. Actors' points of view, sometimes their process as far as bringing a character to life.
Right.
And it's crazy that as much as I enjoy that, I don't ever really make it to any kind of those things. I've never been to a local con. I've never been to a major con.
Well, I mean the Q&A like panel things.
Yeah.
I mean those are different depending on the person. Like when Bruce Campbell did his Q&A,
Yeah.
it was like stand up.
Gotcha.
Like it was him riffing on the people and their questions,
Gotcha.
telling all kinds of jokes.
Gotcha.
He even shared his view on Scorsese. I don't know, however you
I
say
think
his
it's
name.
Scorsese. I say Scorsese.
Scorsese. All right.
Scorchicky.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Sir, please confirm your name.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're
Hey, Mark.
listening.
I don't even call him his full first name.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell even weighed in on that. You remember how he said that Marvel films weren't film,
Oh yeah,
and Bruce
that's
Campbell
right.
said, "Of course, of course it's a film." He was just using it as a general thing because
Yeah.
he said, "You have a score." You have special effects, things that wouldn't happen in real life. So of course it's a film. So it was
Jesus,
kind of funny.
I gotta make my way to one of those things at some point before I turn up dead. Since we're talking about movies, I want to transition here. I think at this point, right, Tenet is released in theaters, which is supposed to be a big thing.
Yep.
New Mutants, just a few weeks before. There's a movie with
Which critics refuse to
Russell Crowe
critics refuse to review.
to review. Yeah, Old Mutant or New Mutants, Old Mutants. Jesus.
Because Disney would not provide socially distanced viewings or whatever.
Oh, is that why?
That's
Gotcha.
why.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's funny because theaters are socially distancing.
Yeah.
As far as I know, seats are closed off, and I heard people that went to like AMC's.
Yeah.
They said it's a very sterile environment, which it was similar to like what I went to.
Yeah, they even stripped down the menu where like they are not making too much, you know what I mean, like of the foods or whatever.
Yeah,
Popcorn, of course.
They're trying to limit contact as much as possible,
Yeah.
and there's some people that are refusing to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what is the right answer here.
So I'm on board for moving forward in the world. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a big like shocker on people here.
You're going to tick people off.
I might. My kids are in school, like in you know what I mean, like in their public schools, and it's because they don't want to be locked up at home anymore.
Right.
And I firmly believe that so long as you're being cautious, and again, that's the mask, that's the washing your hands. I had a huge bottle of hand sanitizer in the middle of my living room. I got one in my work truck, I got one in my work car, or in my personal car, everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly, and even whenever I'm working and lifting or whatever, like I don't even like wipe my face with my hands. Like it's just, and I feel that so long as everyone is doing their part like that, then you should be able to. Let's start pushing forward and getting back to some sort of normality.
I mean, let me put it this way. To the best of my knowledge, I have not caught it. I think I may have had it many, many months ago
Yeah.
because I was actually like deathly sick. Yeah, so I probably had
COVID
it.
antibodies.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't had any symptoms since or
Syn-
anything
yeah.
like that.
So I've come into contact with people who have close to or who have gotten it or whatever. But I've gotten tested. I've gotten tested I think 3 times now, negative, right? And at
Right.
this point, I think I'm probably asymptomatic, and I probably had it at one point.
right.
Ooh, okay. I didn't give it to anyone. No one get. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that I think that so long as everyone is doing their part, taking care of themselves, we can kind of push forward.
I mean, has it been confirmed that if you had it once, that you'll never get it again?
So, at the time of this recording, the CDC actually did update. This goes to show you how much I keep up with this stuff. It's important for work, but
Right.
the CDC updated their website to state that from what they've seen, once you've gotten it once, you can't get it again.
So it's like chicken pox.
Yeah.
But then you're, what was that, shingles that you're
Yeah,
high risk of
high
getting?
risk of yeah. There's someone I know who actually did end up getting shingles later in life. Anyways, but that is, I mean, like it's a thing. So CDC updated saying, hey, look, it doesn't look like that's a thing. I think testing is kind of moving along a little bit faster. There was a point there where it got delayed. I had employees that tested. They got the results back in a day or two, and then at some point it was 7 days away. Before they had to wait on results. It's just like
Right.
there was a surge there. It happens, but the idea of going back to the movies, going back to concerts, you know what I mean? Like these are things that, are we really going to live in a world where like these things, you know what I mean? Like we don't do anymore. Maybe. And think back with me here, right? Let's jump back a year or whatever.
Oh,
You
man,
remember?
I was gonna say I already had like a COVID heartbreak.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, remember I think I sent to the group where Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
They-
yeah.
They wound up postponing and
Yep.
they couldn't reschedule.
Yep.
Scheduling conflicts. Guess what? Canceled.
Canceled.
And then Adam's pissed.
Yeah.
He's still mad.
Adam was pissed. That's his new podcast. You can. What's funny though is that so when I think back right a year, I remember like whenever you'd watch videos or any clips of news like of like people in China, wearing the masks because of the air pollution and whatever. I remember I used to think to myself like that's crazy. Like the idea
Right.
that you go through your day-to-day life wearing a mask like that just
Yeah.
seems so uncomfortable. Fast forward to 2020, yo man, it's uncomfortable. It's
Yeah, it
uncomfortable.
is.
It's crazy. I can't stand
sucks.
it. It's annoying. So I'm with everyone as far as like, hey, this isn't, you know what I mean? Like, cool. I hate it because I do hate it,
I do.
but it's a necessity. And so because of that, like, I understand, like, all right, fine. I'll wear a mask, man. I'll wear one. I'll walk into the theater. Once I get in my seat, I'm 6 feet apart from everyone else. I'm taking that mask off. I'm going to eat my popcorn. I'm going to relax. And then I'll put the damn thing on before I leave. In restaurants, whenever I go eat, if I got to get up to go use the bathroom, I put my mask on. I go, take a piss, come back, mask off. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it can be a painless process. And so open up theaters, man. Go to theaters. You had actually mentioned an article that I missed, right? Where who was it that said that don't go watch movies?
Oh, it was Scott Derrickson. He is the director of, famously for Doctor Strange. He did the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the title.
Which is actually a good movie.
I haven't watched that yet.
Hellraiser 5,
Let's skip that.
which was his first movie.
Gotcha. Oh,
It's a-
okay.
It's
All
a good one. You
We'll let
should-
it go.
You
We'll
should
let it
have
go.
watched it. You had
Cavill.
it for like 2
right. Quite a
years.
bit, yeah.
That's Henry Cavill's not in that one.
That's not the Cavill one? Oh.
No, that's
Whoops.
Hellraiser Hellworld,
Oh, hell. I'm sorry.
which is not a good one.
No.
And if I was to ever meet Henry Cavill, I would question him on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like Adam Sandler, I would ask him about.
How did you, Jack and Jill?
Oh, no, I would ask him about
All his Netflix movies.
No, a movie from like the late '80s or early '90s, and it was called Going Overboard.
Oh, yeah. He's on the cover, floaties on his arms.
Yeah.
I do know that box art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never watched
It's
that.
a really crappy movie.
Is it? Yeah, I never
he's,
watched.
He's like serving a drink to a lady, and a seagull craps in the drink.
Uh-huh.
And he's walking, and you just see it drop in.
Yeah.
Gives it to the lady.
Huh.
That's
Yeah, I haven't
comedy,
watched
man.
it, yeah.
That's so comedy.
Good job. So anyway, so this bastard said not to go to the movies. Don't
Yeah.
go watch Tenant.
Yeah, Scott Derrickson said, "Do not go watch Tenet." Christopher Nolan responded with "F you." No,
He should have.
he should have. It would have been funny.
Yeah.
But no, he said basically don't go see it because don't go back to the theater until it's safe. Like he wasn't singling out Tenet.
No. Yeah.
It's just Tenet is
It's the
big
biggest
one.
release of September. Yeah.
Well, it's the biggest release in like what the last
year.
like 8 months
All
or
year.
whatever.
Oh yeah, because the only other one
6
that
months, however long it's
you,
been.
you know what's a joke to me? Russell Crowe has a movie that came out.
Unhinged.
That one. And I love watching the ads where it's all like #1 in the theaters. There's nothing else in the theater, dumbass. Of
More-
course it's #1.
You know what? More impressive is the movie The Wretched, which became #1 through drive-in.
Oh,
And,
really?
And that movie is low budget and this and that.
Interesting.
And it's not a half bad movie.
Who'da thunk?
And it's cool because you know what? It gave that little movie, it gave it a chance.
Yeah.
More people saw it, and they probably wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Two chains. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just I mean, I'm not gonna argue with anyone. You know what I mean? If any of you guys that are listening, that you're like, no, you know, I'm better at home. I'm safer at home. I'm happy. Hey, man, then do you? Like, I'm not gonna shame you for it. I'm not gonna be mad at you for it. But for those of you who are like kind of on the fence, if you go out there, just please be conscious of the fact that there are other people out there who are more susceptible to getting sick, and let's not put them at risk. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. I think you had a good point there with the if you're going to go out, be respectful.
Yeah.
If you're not going to go out, be respectful of the people that do go out. Because there's like the two camps almost.
Yeah.
Like they're fighting.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
for the most part, it's okay if you do go out. You can leave your home, but if that's not what you want to do, then don't do it.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
don't go and bash somebody because they have views on one way or the other.
Yep.
I mean, it's still a hot topic here in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. A very hot topic here.
I actually like it because the corona cases are going down.
I think
in
finally,
Florida. Yeah, you know why?
people are finally dying.
They're
I'm
doing-
kidding. That's a joke. Go ahead.
I mean, it's no worse than our president playing "Live and Let Die" at his speech,
Jesus, that man's an idiot. That man
which is
a
terribly
moron.
inappropriate.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
So cases are going down.
Uh-huh.
Less tests.
Oh, yeah.
Less tests are being performed in a
Yeah.
day. So it's skewing the numbers,
Yeah, it
which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, that's shiesty.
Because in addition to Nicole being a teacher, she works at a big
Yeah,
one
big
of the
place.
one of the big two. One begins with a C and one begins with a W.
Yeah, gotcha.
The
The CW.
Yeah, the CW.
Yeah, there you
she
go.
works at the CW, and
That
and,
works.
And they do corona tests.
Exactly. Perfect.
But she was saying about it that basically they were told to dial back the testing, which I think is hilarious.
CW.
Yeah.
That is shiesty. That's so
But
wrong
yes,
with
there's
living.
the big two, so it's either the C or the W, the CW.
No bueno. No bueno.
So it's pretty funny to me, and that's why cases are going down for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah. Be cautious out there, guys. Seriously, we need you to keep listening to us. Ultimately, that's why we're saying this. All right, let's go ahead and move into the big one here. This one has been actually brewing for a few weeks, and it's finally spilled over. There's a huge legal battle going on between Epic Games, and they're going after Apple and Google to a certain extent, right? So here's how it all played out, right? Epic Games one day went ahead and released an update for Fortnite on iOS and on the Google Play Store. In the game, it actually gave you the option where normally it's $9.99 for whatever many V-Bucks, right, that you do through in-app purchases.
Oh, that's their currency, is
Yeah,
V-Bucks.
V-Bucks. Yeah. So $9.99 for that, right?
Just reminds me of our currency.
Yeah. And then they put another link that was external, right? It connected you to their website, and it said, hey, for the same amount of V-Bucks, all you got to pay is $7.99, right? Epic actually, I guess, set this up because they knew they were going to get banned. So the moment Apple caught it, they went ahead and banned the app. And then they got hit with a lawsuit, right? Because they're creating a monopoly, and Google is creating a monopoly. Soon after, Google ended up, removing it from the App Store as well. And as of this recording, a judge has actually ruled in favor of Apple in the sense that the game has been pulled from the App Store. They're not required to put it back in the App Store, but that's in association only to, or in direct, I guess, violation of the Fortnite game, not the engine that it runs on, which is, what the hell's the name of it?
Unreal.
Unreal, thank you, the Unreal Engine, because other developers use that or whatever,
Right.
which makes sense, right? So the world is going back and forth, and I'm going to be honest, I don't really see a lot of back and forth. A lot of the tech sites that I keep up with, they're all very mad at Apple. They're all like, they've been creating a monopoly for the longest time. It's about time that game developers, gamers, kind of get their way. And so this is a good thing. Things need to change. I wanted to see how you felt about all this, Adam, because I got feelings.
Yeah, and I kind of had the same feelings as you.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure about it.
Please enlighten us.
I think it's a load of crap what Epic is trying to do because they're trying to cut Apple completely out of any profits. And the company makes a ridiculous amount of money off of Fortnite as it is.
Oh, they do.
And they're trying to act like it's going to hurt them royally. No, what's going to hurt them royally is them, like, it amazes me that they actually went ahead and did this specifically because they knew they were going to screw things.
Yeah.
Like they're intentionally kicking a hornet's nest.
Yeah.
They did it intentionally to just be like, you know what? Let's try it and see what happens.
Yep.
We know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they want to claim that, we'll feel bad for us. Well, no, I don't feel bad for you. And in the long run, I don't feel bad for Apple, but I understand why Apple would be ticked.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hold on one second here. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. No, I agree with you there. All right, so first I want to say this, right? Hey, Epic, what you guys have done with Fortnite, right, is impressive. This was essentially a game that wasn't supposed to be what it is right now. It was a game that bombed. Nobody bought it. Nobody did anything. And because PUBG was popular, they jumped into the 1 versus 100 or 1 versus 99, whatever model that PUBG had in place. But with a twist, the building mechanics.
Right.
And since then, they have made hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So, hats off to you. And it's not that they ignore the game. It's constantly updated. There's seasons into it. There's always new things being done. I've actually been impressed at some of the season ending things that they do. Big old parties or whatever online that people see. I think before the new season started, it was like the whole world was deleted. Everyone was just looking at dark space. Like, it was impressive. It was a cool thing.
Yeah, that was actually pretty neat. As much as I'm against Fortnite, I think that's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, hats off to them. They're doing stuff with all that money that they're raking in from primarily children. Yes, Shay.
The children's parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Children's parents. Yeah.
Because
Sure.
they need to get that whatever.
The skin, hat,
yeah.
bazooka, parachute, whatever the hell it is, for 99 cents and more. Or for V-Bucks.
Isn't
I'm
there
sorry,
like
for
a
V-Bucks.
pinata, dude?
There's pinata something in there.
Viva
Viva pinata, right?
Yeah.
I think that they're knocking off in there. Whatever, man. All that crap. So here's my thing.
That's actually the next crossover.
Pretty much
Rare, Microsoft, and Epic.
done.
The Viva Pinata season.
So these guys, right? Apple's model, the way it works right now, right, is for any developer, right? For the first year, they get 30% of whatever the in-app purchases are, right? 30%. From there forward, year 2 and on, they only get 15%, right? It's a considerable drop. Now, what is Apple giving to the end user? In my opinion, right, they're giving them a stable platform of users that not everyone can guarantee. Right? Yes, Apple is huge now. Apple has hundreds of millions of iPhones out there. The iOS ecosystem is a sturdy one at that, right? Every iOS user has or at least at one point, had a credit card associated with their, like account information. So that's potential, right? For an influx of money. That's potential for you to make money. So for the smaller developers that jump in there and decide, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and program a quick little game. I'm going to charge 99
Flappy
cents.
Bird.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to charge $1 for it, right? And I'm going to walk away with 70 cents of that, like for every one that I
Right.
sell. Hey, cool. Like you're getting the majority of that, right? Meanwhile, you're now on a platform where people can download. And yes, just like Flappy Bird, boom,
Well, and that was free, and that was just strictly ads with it.
with
so
it. Yeah,
that
yeah,
guy
yeah.
Made
But
so
he made
much
a
money.
crap ton of money. Yeah, yeah.
So much money.
To the point where he like stopped, if I remember correctly, right? He was just all like, never mind.
Because people were like ticked at him because it's such a stupid game,
Yeah.
and he was making a boatload.
That's not his fault. That's other people's fault. But so then now Apple is saying, hey, look, like we're like these are the same rules for everyone. We're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing anything, out of this. Like I feel, at least in my opinion, again, that is unrealistic for them to ask. I think that that's a fair trade-off, and I think that Epic, especially Epic, just like ActiBliz, and a bunch of these other like huge developers, that they get so used to nickel and diming and screwing over, some of their like fan base, that I think Epic just got greedy. They said,
Right.
"Hey, why give 15%, of that $10 when I can just take the whole $8 myself?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, but they're intending to cut. They're intending to cut out everything from Apple, which I think
Yeah.
is a load of crap.
it is.
I mean, they're intending to do that to Google too. And
Yes, and so I mean Google as well. You're right. I think their player base isn't as big as iOS, and that's because iOS has become a stable gaming platform, right? In the past, we've
it's-
spoken about this,
but
which
it's
is
still
weird.
cross platforms and stuff. is it not?
Until, well, I'm going to give away the date of this recording, but up until today, or in the next couple days, cross-platform play is going to be cut out from iOS
Well,
and macOS.
Right, and they're splitting off the games. I
Yep.
know that. So
And so, again, I think that that's just Epic, trying to, at this point, they want to see who's bluffing, right?
yeah, but with them doing that, they're allowing the people to continue to play, but they're hurting the gamer at the same time.
They are.
And you could say Apple and Google whatever are doing the same thing. They're
Yeah.
hurting the player, but it's all just stemmed in corporate greed. The entire thing is just corporate greed from both sides.
Yeah.
But I think Epic is the worst party.
I think they're the guilty party here. I
and
completely
and,
agree.
and the fact that there's all these tech sites like, oh yeah, they need to rise up against the man.
Yeah.
Like that type
How
of
long did they
mentality.
actually say they're like Apple needs to stand out and not conform and blah blah blah, and then now that Apple is as huge as they are, they want to go ahead and oh no. They've been doing this since the beginning. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? This isn't new. It's not like they just went ahead and put in that 30% or whatever.
And not only that, the App Store, I mean, it's maintained by them and stuff like that.
It is.
I mean, it's not like there's nothing on Apple's part.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's how I feel, that for what Apple is actually doing with their App Store, the rating systems, making sure that these apps that are phishing for your information and stuff like that, like they're constantly weeding that stuff out. The Google Play Store isn't perfect. I mean, they've gotten better in the past year or two, but at some point, apps run rampant over there where they can. You download it, boom, all your contact information or your credit card information that's stored, your notepads, all that crap.
Yeah.
Like it's taken advantage of. And Apple prevents that. Like they work to prevent that. So
Right.
I feel like, hey, that's where your money's going. Yes, I mean, obviously some of that is profit as well, but that's just like any business.
I don't know. Epic, say Epic is a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And then Apple comes by and wants to give them protection. Apple needs to wet their beak a little bit.
I like how this went the mobster route.
So that's what Epic is likening this
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and that's exactly. They're totally
I
playing
don't know
like
why
if,
I'm like thinking Godfather too.
Yeah.
of the one Don that's there like saying that he needs to wet his beak.
when you say wet his beak, I never mind. I can't say that on this.
I know it would be something different. Yeah.
No. I'm thinking Grindhouse set of films. where Tarantino, like they said that he's away getting his something wet.
Oh yeah.
That's immediately what comes to mind. You say wetting his beak. But
Richard.
yeah, yeah, it's Richard Wallop.
He's getting his Richard wet.
Yeah,
Can we say that?
I think we can. Yeah, I think we're good. But it's crazy. It's crazy to me that Apple, that Epic thinks right that they're gonna get away with this. Now, some of the counter arguments that I've heard that I've read online is that hey, maybe right, and here's where I really got a kick out of it all. They said that maybe they should set up a tiered system, right, where the percentage taken right is larger for like the smaller developers, right? And then for the like bigger developers who are like reaching millions of players or millions of consumers, right? That their cut isn't so big. That's literally what was said in a podcast that I heard and in another article that I read. And I'm like, are you actually telling me that what you want to do is give more money to the rich and hurt the poor? You want to make a small developer pay 30%, but you want the multi-billion-dollar company to pay a lower fee? How's that fair?
Sounds like the tax system to me.
Yeah, it does, right? And I'm just all like, how stupid is that? No, I like the fact that there's uniformity there. I like the fact that they go, hey, look, it's 30%. You have an app in our store, it's 30% across the board. After year one, you survive that, it drops to 15%. That's a little bit more money in your pocket. And at this point, we're kind of stable with what we're doing, so we'll continue to maintain, and you get a little bit more of your cut.
I mean,
I think that's fair.
If anything, it should be the opposite way around. Smaller developer, pays less.
Exactly. And the larger ones pay more.
And the bigger one pays more. And in theory, that's the way things should work. But we know that's not how they work.
Nope. I don't know, man. I've just been blown away by this because everyone now is all of a sudden painting, right? Apple like they're the bad guy. And
Yeah.
we've in the past we've had conversations right through IOHO, just you, me, and Marvin talking. And remember how many times Facebook has screwed people over, and they've clearly just been abusing people's personal information for their own personal gain. And it's like that's not what's been happening over on that Apple side of things. Like they're always telling you about how, hey, it's the end consumer that that they're looking out for. Again, there's profit being made there. I'm not shying away from that. I'm not saying that they don't. But they've always said that we are building a sandbox. Everything stays within that sandbox because we want to provide this experience.
Right.
And at the beginning where everyone's all like, oh, well, that's just stupid. That doesn't make sense. Now they're this trillion-dollar company, multi-trillion, right? I think they crossed the $2 trillion mark.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
$2 trillion value. Correct me if I'm wrong, people.
They're $82 trillion as far as their worth.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so now they're that big, and then now it's everyone that that now all these like people are pushing back, saying that oh no, they're only looking out for themselves, and it's all like no, I think they've been kind of doing their part for the end user, which is why they've gotten such a big base because people recognize that and flocked over.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk endless shit about iPhones for years about, that you can't download these apps, you can't bootleg this, or you can't change this or that or whatever. And eventually they come over and they're like, oh, well, it's stable. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're paying a little extra for.
Yeah. And
It's stable.
That's always one of my reasons why I never jumped to an Android device. For one, I'm not buying things over again.
Yeah.
And for another, I don't like the fact that I'm more exposed and open on an Android device
Yeah.
than on an Apple device.
Yeah.
So
I'm good.
And then people's counter that. Well, look at the iCloud hack and this and that. And
It
it's like
happens.
yes, and I get it. Nothing is 100% secure.
Yeah. Fair.
But
How many times has someone's information been, like it happens so often with Android apps that like, sure, it's not a big news story anymore.
so
You've grown accustomed to being abused in your relationship.
So I was fixing a Samsung tablet,
Okay.
and I had to re-download a camera app.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I went to the Google store.
Play Store, uh-huh.
I was amazed at all of the different just developer stuff that just reminded me back in the day, like where you could just download anything and everything and just completely rip yourself open on, on.
And how many apps look almost the same? You know what I mean?
They
Like,
had like
oops, sorry.
they had nearly the same name,
yeah,
nearly the same image,
Yep.
and I had no idea they were like from just like random people putting these up there, and who knows what you're installing onto your device.
Yep. And so I'm just for S and G's here, right? I've opened up the App Store. I've typed in the word camera, right, just to kind of get an idea as to see if that's the same feeling I get, right, just to get a more accurate look. So first thing that pops up for me is Adobe Lightroom, right at the top. That's an advertised app or whatever. From there, then Focus, 20,000 reviews. Camera 360, 88,000 reviews. Hugie Cam, 10,000 reviews. But none of these look like the same. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
their apps look different. I mean,
Dude,
I don't know if I'm buying that review crap, but it looks like they're different developers.
Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason. I had no idea which one to choose.
Yeah.
Like really, there was no rhyme or reason to it. It's like they just, all right, I need this camera app, and it's like they just threw whatever, like everything that's in that store,
Yeah.
and who knows
In your face.
who knows where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it, man. I don't understand it. I don't
But
understand
yeah, people
it.
tell me that Android's superior and whatnot. So
Yeah. You know, and one of the things that I've noticed with, and we've spoken about this recently, I'm on the beta, right? You're not. I know.
Yep.
And just to refresh everyone, Adam's not on it because usually we upgrade every year. And the idea is that new device, new operating system, it feels like a new phone as opposed to
Right.
writing out the software all the way up to the new phone. And all you're really getting is, major, like a minor bump in hardware, but it's the same operating system experience. Cool,
Right.
fair. For me, I'm all about, hey, throw it at me. Let's, figure out what's going on. And, and then I appreciate all the subtle changes all the way throughout. But one of the big things in iOS 14 is your privacy notifications, right? It's constantly letting you know whenever an application that you launched, if it copied what you had, in your clipboard. It's letting you know if something is trying to access your location or if it's trying to.
You mean because of TikTok?
Yeah, so that was a big thing,
that was the
exactly.
issue?
So, but another one now is that Facebook recently was actually
man.
complaining because they're like,
Zuckerberg is not happy.
yeah, there's like, oh well, now like our ad tracking and all that stuff, people can block that, and I'm like, good.
Yeah, so he's upset that his shady way of making money
Yeah,
is. I mean, dude, it's almost like I forget what it's called. I think it's like Bender's Big Break or whatever, the Futurama movie.
Oh,
They have
okay.
those aliens, and that's how they profit from.
Oh, really? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
and it's from their data miners.
That's
and,
funny.
And they're like, oh, like they get off on it.
Yeah.
And so,
So here's the thing, right? And I've argued for Facebook in the past, right? In the sense of Facebook offers you, right, a platform that a lot of people enjoy, right? And because of that, they've got to find a way to keep the lights on, right? Because there are a lot of people on Facebook. Okay, cool. By doing that, they advertise, right? Or they get the information that you're supplying to them, which I think is fair, right? If I'm asking you for, your name, your age range, you know what I mean, your location, so that way I know like what I can push in your direction, and the trade-off is that you get this platform that you can reach out to blah, blah, blah. You willingly do that, cool, we've got a deal going. What I don't like is that over time now, it's all, well, on your device, what other applications are you using? You know what I mean? Like, how are you using those apps or whatever? And so that information, bouncing over from one to the other, Facebook has come to rely on that information. That's why whenever you launch your Facebook app on your phone, it's telling you, what you searched recently in your Amazon app, or what, you might have Googled at some point,
Yep.
or what someone mentioned to you in a text. Like, all those things come into play.
there's so many times I'll do like a search,
Yeah.
like in like Safari or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that product will show up on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. And it's all like, oh my God, they're watching.
I mean, I don't care, but it's just,
It's excessive.
yeah, it's kind of annoying.
It
I
is.
mean, and the fact that I talk about something
Yeah.
and your phone is
Yep.
listening to
Listening to you. Yeah.
you. sure enough, guess what?
Popped up there.
It'll pop up.
Yep.
That product will be there.
And it's so it's funny to me, right? That so Facebook's getting mad about it or whatever because they're like, hey, now we can't like make all this much money. And again, this is one of those things that it's a benefit to me, the end user. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook profile. It's just not anything that I would get into. I do have the Instagram though. And you're right, it pops up in there in the ads and it annoys me at times. So the idea that like now my phone is letting me know how my information is being accessed, I'm on board with that. And at that point, like you can click allow. Like you can go ahead and say,
Right.
hey, just this one time, all the time, whatever. So awesome. And so for a company to get mad because we're like, oh well now, you know what I mean? Now the end user is aware of what we're
I
accessing.
mean, how about this?
I don't feel bad for you, Zuck.
How about this? Until I shut it off,
Yeah.
the Best Buy app was tracking my every movement.
Everything.
Like, showed like dots of everywhere I've been.
Jesus.
And sure enough, I go near a Best Buy or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I get a notification like, "Hey, guess what? You can stop in and get this or that." It's like, seriously?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's just as bad as like when you see something like the futuristic movies.
Yeah. Whereas
Like-
you're walking by the
like-
digital
like, what was
billboard.
that, like Minority Report
Yeah,
or
yeah, that
whatever,
does it
like
too.
where he walks by and
Yep.
it knows who you are and
Yeah.
it starts trying to interest you.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. I mean, and it is. It's slowly pushing that way with you popping everything up. At the end of it all, yes, I understand that. Hey, Apple's making money off of you in some which way or form, and yes, they're using their weight in the sense of like, hey, we've got all these users that we have this access to their information. And not even we, right? But all this information that they have and this platform that they're on. You want to release an app over here? This is the cost of it, and it gives you access to this.
As far as it goes to, I don't feel bad for Facebook either.
Nah.
I mean, Facebook, it's Facebook.
It is.
Zuckerberg is rich,
Yeah.
so
Hey, Zuck, liquidate some of that stuff, put it to the side, and then let Facebook crash.
I mean, give it to the brothers. What was their names?
And no one, I was about to say the Koch
Twins.
brothers, not the Koch brothers. Yeah, no, the Dumb and Dumber. They're not Dumb and Dumber. That's the way the movie painted them. The Winklevoss.
Yes,
The
yes,
Winklevoss
yes.
twins.
It was Spider-Man, and wasn't it Spider-Man? Or no, it was
No,
it was
Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer. Okay.
Yeah, Armie Hammer. Yeah, I don't know. We've held you guys up for over an hour here. Let us know where you stand on the Epic versus the world versus Apple and Google fight. I definitely love to hear that. And then ultimately, let us know if you're going back to the movies at some point. So. I'm Will. You can always find me over at the Will of Krypton over on Twitter, or just head over to inouronestopinion.com for all the links.
And you can find me on. Well, I guess I should say who I am.
Who are you?
If you don't know by now, my
Yeah.
name is Adam.
An hour and 7 minutes in.
And
Who's the other guy?
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Adam_analyzes. I post up stuff occasionally on Instagram primarily.
You've got Joe Bob Briggs stuff on there.
Well, yeah, that was my most recent post.
And other than that, look forward to the 31 Nights of Fright, Season 3.
Dropping very soon.
Yeah, very soon. So thank you guys for listening, man. As always, next episode, we didn't leave anything kind of hanging off for that, which is nice. We were able to knock everything out. But I am looking forward to talking to you about the 4-episode miniseries that is the Zack Snyder's Justice League. But we'll touch on that next week.
I'm excited for that too.
I am. So anyways, you guys have a great night. Thanks for listening as always. Peace.
All right, good night.